Hi, guys. Thank you so very much for tuning in to another episode with me. So, today I wanted to share with y'all a few tips that you can use to start your day with God, start your morning with Him. Everyone is different. So, this is not a one size fit all type of episode, but I do want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. And that is really just from my own perspective and my personal experience. And also how it has helped other people. It's really just about like what works best for you, what works best for your situation, your lifestyle. What does it look like on a day-to-day basis of you spending time with God, right? So you have to really just take that into consideration. um, I honestly believe that it is important to factor God into your life, into your schedule. And the way that you do that is you look at everything that is going on in your schedule, everything that is that you start out doing, and really just go from there. So, say for instance, you are starting your life or starting your day out by waking up in the morning, and you usually look at your phone, or you go ahead and you turn the TV back on, whatever the case may be. Instead of getting on your phone, instead of turning on the TV, take that opportunity to spend time with God. What I would recommend you start out with is about 10 minutes. So, especially if you are a beginner in waking up and starting your routine with God, I would say start out with 10 minutes. See how that goes, see how that is comfortable for you to start out with. And then go ahead and stay with that for, I would say, about a month, and see how it works. And then go ahead and take it a step further by doing 20 minutes, and so on and so forth. And so, starting out to try to figure out what time you should actually wake up, it all depends on your lifestyle. It all depends on your routine. What time do you have to go to school in the morning? What time do you have to work? I have to factor all of that in, as well as me having a dog. I have to factor all of that in. So I have to make sure that, okay, if I'm going to spend time with God in the morning, I have to, before my life gets busy, right? Before I have to get to work, what I have to do is I have to make sure that I factor God into my schedule. I have to make time and be intentional with making time for him. So what that looks like for me personally is that I have to wake up. I have to think about, okay, where would he fit in, that would be comfortable for me to be intentional about my time and say, okay, I can do this. I have a slot open that I can go ahead and fit him in right here. And don't be ashamed of saying, like, I got to fit God into my schedule. I got to do this, right? Look at it as you being intentional with your time and prioritizing God, right? That's exactly what it is that you are prioritizing God into your schedule. And that's what it looks like. As you prioritize everything else in your schedule, you are also prioritizing your time with him, because he knows that you're busy. He knows that at a certain time you're going to get busy, and you won't have time for him until it's time to come back for, to go to sleep and what have you. And then, you have that time there. But you have to look at your situation, look at your routine on a day-to-day basis, and see what does it look like, right? And then we'll also go ahead and look at what it looks like on the weekends, because maybe it's different for you. Um so I'll just give you my situation as an example. So what I usually do is I would wake up, because I have a dog, like I said. So I want to make sure that he's taken care of. I want to make sure that he's eaten, he's gotten out to use the bathroom, just making sure that he's taken care of accordingly before I head out the door for work. So what my time looks like, and you guys are probably going to be like, oh my gosh, that is way too early. I get up at like, it used to be 4:30. I just changed it from 4:30 a.m. Yes, a.m. to 4 o'clock a.m. Because I noticed that I want to factor in actually taking my dog out on a walk, because I want to get him that exercise, that extra exercise in for the day, and not just something that he receives when I get home from work, and it's just very small, very minimal, right? And so I'm like, okay, I need to go ahead and I need to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to spend time with God. And so I have done that. Now, sometimes it is a challenge, I must say. And I have been doing this for a long time. But once you continually do it, it becomes much, much better. But that's when I factor in my time with God. I go ahead and I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I spend time with him between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And that's the reason. And the reason why I do that is because I um I write down dreams that he gives me. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But that's what I do. And I spend time with him. I write down everything that he asks me to. So for the weekend can possibly look different for you. I know for me, um, it does not. I keep the same time because I want to make sure, because what am I doing anyway um, that early? And it's much easier for me to just be consistent throughout that entire time for 7 days a week. However, everyone is different. Um, I would say so. That's what you have to also put in consideration, or take in consideration, is what would you like to do for the weekend. Now, some people will probably go ahead and sleep in for a little minute and then go ahead and spend time with God. Or you might want to go ahead and so that means that you will spend time with God later on in the morning, whatever works for you. But I would say to still make sure that you write it down. Is so much easier to go ahead and write it down. That's what I started doing, especially when I start putting things on my schedule. I always like to write it down. I don't just have it in my phone. I like to also write it down so that I can see it. And also, when you write things down, is like an immediate reminder because you've actually done it. And so that really helps as well. So, really just taking that into consideration too. But all in all, just making sure that you do what is best for you. I also want to say, and ending on this note, is that it is important to just be intentional with your time. It's all about your heart posture and spending quality time with God and wanting to spend time with Him. And it's not about getting something from Him, or if you get extra brownie points, if you spend, the early hours with Him. No, it's not about that. It shouldn't be about that. It's about you spending quality time with God and wanting to learn more about Him, wanting to spend that time with Him. And let me just also say that if you don't have anything to share, then go ahead and ask the Holy Spirit to speak on your behalf, and He would definitely be there for you. So you don't have to worry about always having something to talk about. The Holy Spirit will speak on your behalf. It has happened to me, and I know that it's going to happen to you as well. So don't be alarmed, don't be frustrated. Just give it all to God. And so anyway, I'll just leave you with that. I hope this message helped you, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.